Okay, thanks so much for having me tonight. The last time I was here was 6 months ago, and I'm so glad they invited me back because I've almost spent the entire $20 I made last time. Hard to stretch $1 these days with inflation. This is my first time doing stand-up comedy. And I'm filming it, and it's going to be my first comedy special. And yeah, I don't think Netflix is going to go for it, but maybe Tubi. Or I think Roku does some programming directly. And it's Roku, and then it's just a pipeline to Showtime and HBO. All right, the special is called Who Farted? 2 days ago, I thought a good name for this special would be Who Farted, and I want to wear a shirt that says Who Farted. And I looked online, and this is the exact shirt I was picturing, except I wanted it to be long sleeve, but they only had long sleeve and a heather gray with black text. So I got the short sleeve, and then in post, I think I will just animate a little blur over the seam. And I don't think anyone's really going to be paying attention to my arms too much, so I think it'll be okay. Who farted? All right, let's get to the jokes. I tried to go to the bank the other day, but it was a Sunday, and they were closed. And that seems like the sort of thing that we should have figured out by now. Some sort of rotating schedule of employees. Some people work Monday to Thursday, some people work Friday to Tuesday, and then the bank's open all 7 days of the week. Just a thought. I don't usually have business at the bank because I don't have a lot of money going in or out of my accounts. I have a one credit card that I got in high school, and it's like a baby credit card, and you learn credit, and I've had that shit maxed out for 8 years now, $1,000. And once a month, or actually it's like once every 2 weeks, I get an email. I can't do this my whole comedy special. Once every 2 weeks, I get an email from School's First Federal Credit Union, and it says, Joe, please call us. We want to talk to you about your account. And I'm like, hell no, brother. Hell no, I know how that conversation's gonna go. You call me. Why would I? It's like walking yourself to the principal's office if you do something bad. What an insane request. All right, who farted? Olive oil comes from olives, right? Okay. Avocado oil comes from avocados. Sunflower oil comes from sunflowers. Where the hell does canola oil come from? Oh, okay. Einstein over here. I don't know if you've ever done one of these things, but usually it's like, I do the jokes, you do the... it's cool, like, insults that are just first names, like Einstein or fucking, what else, Poindexter. Imagine being so smart that your name becomes an insult for making fun of other people being too smart, that they're dorky. That's kind of funny. The other day, this jackass said to me, he said, "Sweet Joey, you're a son of a bitch." And I said, come on, man. You're lucky my mom's not next to me, because she would have had her feelings hurt right then. Because that's who that insulting is, my mom. I'm just the son in that situation. It's a semantics thing. And, okay, so then he said, "All right, wise guy." And I said, "Thank you very much." A couple of compliments from a jackass. Who farted? Look how fucking tiny this is. I thought it would be lame to have 3 sheets of paper, so I condensed it, and joke's on me. Okay, this is a fucking good one. All right. My best friends are becoming increasingly successful musicians, which just statistically is making me feel like my chances of becoming a really successful musician are dwindling. So that's part of why I'm pivoting to comedy. Been feeling really bad about myself lately. No, okay. I hate self-deprecating comedians, so I'm not going to do that. And I also hate self-defecating comedians. Those guys stink. And don't even get me started on shelf-decorating comedians, because those guys are always putting weird things in funny places. But fucking elf leprechaun rating comedians, those guys are the worst. They're always, judging the little guys. Self-deprecating, elf leprechaun rating. You get it? Who farted? I want to talk to the son of a gun who decided that shoe sizes are going to be like an abstract number system, and different brands have the same numbers that mean the same thing, but there's like a margin of error. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this should be a standardized thing, and there's an invention that you put your foot into, and it's a metal thing, and that translates this abstract system of feet sizes into like, I don't know, like millimeters or whatever, and that helps you figure out what size shoe you should wear. Why don't we just make the numbers mean something like, the inches or whatever, so any Joe Schmo or whatever at home is thinking, oh, does this shoe fit me? And you can just measure it. We don't need to translate the system of numbers from one thing to another, and the other thing isn't standardized. That's getting into like TED Talk territory. Okay, this one might not hit. Do you guys know of a dance move called the slick back? No? Or kind of? All right, so there's a dance move called the slick back that I've seen on TikTok, and I can't do it, but it's like it's a thing where you move forward and it looks like you're gliding, and it's very compelling to watch, and I can't figure that shit out. And there's a certain type of dance move that is timeless, and my theory is that if the slick back had a better name that had a clear reference point to what it looked like you were doing, a la the robot or the worm or the moonwalk, then that would take the slick back into the ranks of dance moves that live on forever. Okay, so you can go home and look up the slick back, and then you'll get what I'm talking about. And I was thinking it's a shame that the moonwalk is already taken, because that's kind of what it looks like. Looks like you're walking on the moon. All right. Who farted? Okay. Usually I'm a Gillette Sport kind of guy. But the other day I decided to save a buck, and I got Old Spice Classic and deodorant is what I'm talking about. And I put that shit on, and it kind of itched, and I didn't think much of it. Whoa. All right. I didn't think much of it. And then the next day, I put on deodorant again, as one does, 24 hours in a cycle. And this time, my armpits burned, like really bad. So I Googled Old Spice armpits burning, and sure enough, there's a class action lawsuit against Old Spice for chemical burns in your armpits. And I thought, I guess that's the Old Spice they're talking about. It's that spicy feeling you get in your armpits when you put it on. As a deodorant company, it seems like the one thing you should make sure is happening is that, like that doesn't happen. Like you should feel good, smell good. Second page. Okay, is it just me? Is it just me, or does the cycle of trends of... Wait, I can do this better. Basketball shorts, the style that is coolest of basketball shorts being long or short or baggy or on the tighter end, that fluctuation happens at a rate that is faster than other pants and I think fashions in general. Like normal pants, baggy pants are cool for a while, and then they get skinnier slowly, but it feels like basketball shorts, it's season to season. Okay? And I was just and I was wondering, do you think the NBA players vote before a season on like how long their shorts are going to be? Or do you think, and then that's what makes it cool? Or do you think it's the other way around, where whoever the basketball short companies are in charge of choosing the length of the basketball shorts, and then the players have to wear them because it's their uniform, and then it just becomes assimilated into style and everything? I don't know. It's just think about that. I have short basketball shorts and long basketball shorts, so that season to season, I always have what's cool. Another more of an observation. I got to remember to keep these things funny. Not that good. It's kind of weird that certain individuals from the past, get so much credit, like Shakespeare and Foucault. And also fucking, who cares, Beethoven or something? My theory is that there was a lot of smart people doing a lot of cool things, but it was harder to access things like pianos and quills and typewriters and whatnot. So only the people who had those, I mean, they're good, but imagine the other stuff that would have come out from the time. Okay, who farted? Something we should bring back from Shakespeare times is booing and throwing tomatoes at bad performances. Starting tomorrow. Have you heard of this kind of cheese they make by, I think it's a sheep's milk. A sheep's stomach. They fill a sheep's milk. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna edit this out of the special. Have you heard of this kind of cheese where they take a sheep's stomach and they fill that shit up with milk, and then they put larva in it, and then over a long ass time the larva eats the milk, and that is the process of fermenting the milk to make the cheese. And also there's this type of coffee, I guess, where a cat eats the coffee after it's been roasted, poops it out, and then you make the coffee out of the cat's coffee poop. Call me crazy, but no thanks. Who farted? For me, if something ate the food, it's done, you know? Like, time for me to find new food that hasn't been eaten and served its purpose as food. Many nights of my adult life, since I was 20, I have bad anxiety attacks where I feel like I'm having a heart attack, and it feels like it both feels like I'm having a heart attack and like my heart is slowing down, and like the pressure in my extremities goes up, and I get clammy hands and feet, and I get sparkly vision and tunnel vision, and my beautiful supportive girlfriend, bless her heart, she doesn't know what to do. Nothing she can say eases the uncomfortable feeling that I'm having night after night as we're trying to watch Dexter or whatnot. And so I went to the doctor, as I do when these things flare up, which is usually once a year. And this time they did blood work, and they confirmed that my cholesterol is through the roof, which, fair enough. So I decided to make some lifestyle changes, and I have this little treadmill I bought to do prop comedy several years ago, and I whipped that bad boy out, dusted her off, and I got it on Amazon for $300, and I started running on it, but the max, and it's good. Now I'm working out, working on my cholesterol. Anyways, so the treadmill only goes fast enough for me to, like, the top speed I could, if I wanted to be walking, I could be walking. So I have to kind of force myself to jog. Imagine if there was other things you could buy that were cheaper versions of things that, accomplish a certain task, and you could choose to spend less money to get a version of it that does a worse job. For example, just imagine, however much a toaster costs, you could say. If a toaster is, $40, imagine there's an option next to the toaster that is $15 or $20, and it only gets the bread a little warm. And the reason you might buy that is because it's cheaper, which is, I guess that's normal. That's kind of how shit works. It's like, spend more money, get things that work better. Yeah. That was funnier to me when I was thinking about it. So yeah, I gotta get a better treadmill. Okay, so back on to inventions, like the treadmill and like the toaster. Now we're talking about inventions, I think. I miss the days where inventions were, not electronics based, where it was putting together wheels and bungee cords and shit to make cool moving things like a fucking Flojo board or A ripstick, I mean. Anyways. Okay. Scratch that one. I had an idea once that I thought was going to change everything, okay? And now I can see that it's a bad idea. But at the time that I had this idea, I thought it was a really smart idea. And the idea, and it happened to me when I was 15 years old, and I was watching pornography, and I had the thought that I wanted to be looking at my peers, which we all know is not possible, or shouldn't be possible. I know now. But at the time, I wasn't attracted to people my age that I am now, as I am now. I was attracted to people who were my peers at the time. And so my thought was, okay, why don't we get together? We'll make a pornography type studio that's all children, and we do all the acting, all the performing, all the directing, all the fucking camera people are just kids. And just like it's an honor system to get into normal pornography sites where you click a box that says I'm 18 years old, why would it be so hard to apply the same kind of honor system to say, yeah, I'm a kid, I can watch this shit, it's cool, it's just my peers that I'm interested in. And now, years later, I understand the problems with the idea. So I'm not saying, in the context of all ideas, it's a great idea. But I do think that it was kind of an advanced idea for me to have at the time. The way, like, if a kid, let's see, if like a third grader could read a book at a 5th grade reading level, we'd all be really impressed. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, an adult can read a 5th grade book and it's not impressive. And I can now, as an adult, see the flaws with that logic. But kind of a good idea for a 15-year-old to have, thinking about bodily autonomy and shit like that. Who farted? I used to go to freak dance parties in middle school, like grinding on each other. And I wasn't very good at it, and I didn't get invited to most of them, but I did get invited to some of them. And there was one party I went to where the chaperone had a strict rule where you couldn't freak dance front to front. You had to go front to back, which seems like an arbitrary line to draw, but it worked out for me because that was the orientation I preferred. It's just a little easier and removed some of the social. That was the harder part. I wanted to be doing it, but it was harder for me to communicate with the people that I was doing it with. And so if I didn't have to look them in the face, it's easier and more fun. And the only girl that usually I would do it with was this girl, Stephanie Burbauer. I didn't write this, it's just an aside. And she was the tallest girl, and I was on the shorter side, and so we had a funny little dynamic. Okay, this is good. Do you think Chaperone has ever been chaperoned? Alright, who farted? I wrote pickleball, but I don't have any ideas right now. Okay, thanks for listening. This is so much fun. We're getting through it. Okay, the Olympics. Topical. Growing up, I thought the Olympics were just as important as stuff like the president and the election cycle and stuff. And these days, the Olympics feel like I don't know when the Olympics are happening. I'll just notice in my periphery that the Olympics are happening. And I say, oh, the Olympics are on. And I had next door neighbors growing up, and they were both Olympians. They trained their whole life to be gymnasts. And then last minute, they flipped the script and became divers. And it's funny, the funny thing is that at a certain point of being a good athlete. I think you could just kind of hop around and be probably the best in the world at multiple things, but you have to commit to one. For example, I was thinking if Usain Bolt, you know who that is? Okay, if Usain Bolt or like even LeBron James, spent probably like a month of their life learning the technique to do speed walking, no fucking way that they wouldn't win the speed walking race. You know what I mean? But they've just committed themselves to a more legitimate sport than speed walking. So then there's a big bubble for competitive speed walkers to be the best at it. I feel like maybe I just pissed off the speed walking community. Not the worst community to have coming after you. Just do a light jog and you'll probably be fine. Who fucking farted? That was good. Okay. Oh, and the same logic is applied to beach balls, because who plays with a beach ball at the beach? You know what I mean? No way. A beach ball is a prop to paint the picture of a beach theme at a party, but it's not the most fun ball to play at the beach with at the beach. But the balls that are more fun to play with at the beach, their sole purpose is usually tied to a specific sport, like, soccer or football or something. So then there's this big hole for, what's the official ball of the beach? It's a beach ball, but no one plays with a beach ball at the beach, I think. Had a funny day the other day where this is a true story, I saved the fuck out of a baby. Yep. If I wasn't where I was, at the moment I think there would be a dead baby in Union Square. And what happened is this little baby who definitely couldn't even walk or say normal words, or maybe he could speak a little bit, but he was just like a baby. We were at the playground, me and my girlfriend, and her sister and her baby children, and a different baby was in front of us at the slide that we were sitting at, and this baby climbed to the top of the slide, 8-9 feet, big metal slide, and his caretaker person was on the other side of the slide, and she was out there yelling, "The slide's wet! The slide's wet!" And so that's what she was concerned about. So the baby just let go, and I fucking caught this baby upside down in midair. She saw it. And I swear to God, if I wasn't there to catch this baby, I think there would be a dead baby in Union Square that day. Thank you. But I was upset because no one was filming that shit. There was a whole bunch of people with strollers, and there was a big gasp. Everyone saw it, but no one happened to be filming. And if someone happened to film that shit, then I would have had 3 guaranteed super viral videos. One of them would be the incident itself, me catching the baby. That shit would have got mad views. Then I think that it would get picked up by the local news. So that's the second video. And then let's say this baby was 2. 16 years later, if everything went well, this kid would have graduated from high school. And hell yeah, I would have been there at that graduation to take one of those photos. Like, I saved your life. No. You know what I'm talking about? Like firefighters revisit babies they save and shit, and they take a photo. That's got to be an awkward encounter. What do they have to talk about? Remember when I saved you? No. Oh, yeah, and the other side of the joke is that later that day I was taking a whiz, and we have a bunch of fruit flies in our house right now, and one of them landed in the toilet, so I did one of these, and I drowned him. And I watched him struggling, and I'm like, that's not a good way to go. drowning in piss, you know? And when I thought about it, it made me feel a little empathetic and sad. It's interesting that so many articulating parts and things are crammed down into something the size of a fruit fly. And I know that they don't have muscles, but they have moving parts, and they have enough of a brain, I think, to have a favorite food, which is fruit. And so it's just funny, the contrast of, in one 24-hour cycle, how the way I was valuing life on Earth. And also that made me think about how, when I was thinking about how small a fruit fly is, I was thinking, micro SD cards aren't that impressive anymore. Because I don't know how they work, and before the fruit fly epiphany, I was like, that's so much stuff can be on this tiny little thing. But imagine, a little, like a drone or something the size of a fruit fly. Now that's something I'd like to see. Who farted? Okay, last one. And then a big finale. Okay. It's funny. Okay, it's funny. A funny phenomenon that happens with humans is that when you get so scared, you shit yourself, right? That's just like comedy 101. But it usually only happens past a threshold of being scared that is not funny scared. It's like traumatic scared. That's when people shit themselves. But just imagine if that threshold was a little bit less. And like the other day, we went to Williamsburg, and my girlfriend was looking for the Madewell store, and we walked by what used to be the storefront of Madewell, but there was a sign in the window, and it says, "We moved 2 doors down," and my girlfriend said, "Oh my God, I almost shit myself." Imagine if she was so scared that the Madewell wasn't there anymore. Imagine if that was the level of fear that triggered shitting yourself, you know what I mean? What would a scary movie look like? I bet it would change everything. Okay. So that's the last joke I had. Who farted? Wow, thanks. Okay, and this next part requires a little bit of setup, but this is more of a David Blane situation. Okay, I'm just trying to think of what I need to do. I'm gonna move this stool.
You need help? You want me to help?
Okay, can I get a volunteer, please? Yeah. Okay. What's gonna happen? Or what's your name? Hey, thanks so much for coming up and volunteering. All right, so you're gonna bound my ass up with handcuffs and wrist cuffs, and then the plastic wrap all around me and really fucking get me. Just don't get my knees. I gotta be able to bend my knees. Yeah. Start from the knees. This is fucking fart spray. And I'm gonna fill that shit up with fart spray. And trust me, you don't want to be stuck in a box full of fart spray. Alright? And then once I'm in the box, you're gonna lock this shit up and literally throw the keys at Tilly. And you can even put that and then I think let's just fucking cue that music. Let's get back on
Lock that shit up.
All right. Okay. That's it. Thanks so much.